Today we are going to see what is the key differences between three models when we search for Gemini in Google is different. Like there is Gemini provided by Google, then you can see there is a Google AI Studio, and there is a Vertex AI as well. So people might often get confused or when to use which one, and because in all of them you will get the Gemini 2.5 Pro, Gemini Flash in both the AI Studio, Vertex, and as well as in the Gemini Playground. So today we'll see how these things are different, and also I will tell about some key components regarding all of these three different website, you can say. So yeah, we'll explore this one by one. I already prepared a Google Doc where I'll be sharing this at the end of the video, so where we can refer one by one. So you guys probably already know the Gemini it's basically a large language models developed by Google DeepMind. So it's not a platform or service, rather than it's an AI model which power various Google AI products. So if you see like the models provided to end users by Google in last year or in the 2025, we'll see there are 2.5 flash, 2.5 pro, 1.5 pro, and 1.5 flash. So there are different capabilities in all of those three models. So some models provide advanced reasoning, of them have large context window. I will go one by one what these words exactly means. Some are capable of code generation, some can support over 140 languages. So there are a lot of features available there. So let's come to the Gemini first. Later we'll discuss when to use which one. But yeah, as of now, let's go with this one. Like when you search for Gemini in a Google search, I open window and let me search for Gemini. I'll see the first option will come Google Gemini. So what is this? This is a simple playground where you don't have much power of setting the things or configure the things. You'll find like there are 2.5 flash which we can use for all round help. Then there is 2.5 pro. So what's the basic difference between flash and pro? So pro models are suitable for reasoning some complex tasks, and 2.5 flash is a super fast model where we need quick answer. We don't if when you don't need much reasoning, maths, and do code kind of stuff, you can use that, but it will be not good in terms of the result. So for example, if you come to website, if you want to write a simple email, so let's say let me show an example. Write me an email asking for 2 days of medical leave, let's say. So it will quickly generate the response. See, it certainly has a draft email for your medical leave because blah blah blah. So it will generate the result is very quickly. And also you can see now there's provided the thinking output as well for flash model as well. So you can see how it is thinking, but you don't have the control what should be the output token limit and what should be its temperature. Those are some terms used we'll be seeing in the later version of the video. But this simple task, like in the day-to-day task, let's say some students wants write me a essay, sorry, essay on school, let's say. So it will provide a quick unreasoning answer here. Okay, it will write an essay over there, and it will be very quick. It will be mostly under 15 seconds whenever you provide context or provide a message to the 2.5 flash. At the same time, if you need more reasoning, let's say I want to write a code base, so I can go with the 2.5 pro. So when some more analyzation is needed, so let's say write me a Python code for tic tac toe game. Though you can generate this code using 2.5 flash as well, but yeah, let's see when we go with 2.5 pro what it does. So it will take some time here. So as of my experiment and my thing, for complex task, it takes around more than 60 to 120 seconds actually. So yeah, it depends on prompt to prompt. So when you have a larger prompt, you have larger context in the prompt as an input token, then it will take much bigger time. So you will have the code here. the Python code, and it will be executed in the directly. So yeah, there they give the option to directly export to Google Colab as well. So this is a simple playground where you don't have much control. You can go to that upgrade where it's a day-to-day use actually. So whenever you have a, let's say if you're using a phone and downloaded the Gemini app, this does the same actually. So when you have to, you can speak to it, you can use your microphone to communicate with it. This is a day-to-day task. It's not a production, it's a production ready thing, but not for your product based things. So when you go for prompting and learn using this LLM models, there are two portions, right? One is conversational and one is product based. So for conversational, it means it can be used in day-to-day tasks, but you cannot integrate to a it to a product. Let's say you are building a product where you are using like Google models, you can't use this. So that's the definition of this Gemini. So whenever someone using a tech person or not non-tech person, he can use it directly. Now let's come to that Google AI Studio. Now what is Google AI Studio? Now let's get back to the document and let me explain a little over it. So Google AI Studio is the first path for developers, students and researchers who want to try Gemini models and get started building with the Gemini developer API. So if someone want to design an application, someone have a prompt which can provide best result, which can do certain things, those can use Google AI Studio for development. So for example, let's say Gemini 2.5 Pro or 2.5 Flash is the engine of a car. This is a playground where you can see how the car performs with some different configuration. That's it. So here you will have some limitations, so we'll come back to that. So when you go to that, so you can get an API key here as well. So if you click on get API key, it will generate an API key for you. So first, I think if you click on create API key, it will create an API key for you. So when you click on create API key in new project, so it will create a Google Cloud project, and you can use the API key. And using the API key, you can just make a card request, or you can provide a Gemini API key here, and you can do a card request which can work from your local as well. We'll go to that part in the later part of the video, but yeah, let's go to that AI Studio first, and then we'll come here again. So let me go to the studio. So here let's say I want to write a prompt. Let's say I want to explain the probability of rolling to, let's generate a Docker script to create a simple Linux machine. Okay, so this is the prompt. Now here I can configure some things. So which model I want to use. So in the Google Gemini, you can see you can only have access to two models, that is 2.5 Pro and 2.5 Flash, which is production ready from the Gemini side. But in the Google AI Studio, you can have some more. So there is a 2.5 Pro which is production ready and can available in Google Gemini. But there is another model 2.5 Pro which is in preview state, then 2.5 Flash, then 5 Flash preview, and then there is a Flash Lite version as well. And the pricing differs. So when you use, so for some simple task, we don't need Flash, right? You don't need Pro. You might be okay with the flashlight or Flash. So in those cases, you can use the these models. So if you see the pricing, the 2.5 Pro, the input token price, so it's all calculated in million tokens. So if you see API pricing per 1 million tokens, so for 1 million input tokens, the charges is 125 and output is $10. Given that the token, the input token is less than 200k, that is 2 lakhs in the terms of token. So if you want to convert tokens to words, you can just divide it by 4 actually for approximation. So basically 4 characters is equal to 1 token, you can say. This is a approximation, it's not always the case, but it's around 4. So you can go with Gemini 2.0, then there are Gamma model, there are other models as well, and everything is you can find from the Google side only. And along with that, let's say I'm going to use 2.5 Flash for this experiment, then I can set temperature. So I'll come to the next video what these things exactly means. Creativity allowed in the response. So how much creativity you want in the response. So if you want to generate a Docker script to create a simple Linux machine, we don't need creativity there, right? So if you are writing an essay on a certain topic, or you are making some content, you want some descriptive video, uh, you want to, let's say, tell a story about something, so then you need it to be creative. Then you can raise the temperature to a higher level, then it will be more creative. But for this task we don't need that creativity, right? It's some clear cut concept which we need. So let's set up in 0.2. So as the whatever you set the temperature, it's provide the output accordingly. Then there's a thinking mode, you want to think or not. So let's say I don't want thinking. If I want to think, then I can set a thinking budget. So if you consider, if you see, these models are prices are very high in compared to this is not very high for flash, but it's very high for 2.5 pro. This is very to product to product, person to person. So if you don't, so output token is generally more pricey. So if you see, input token is $0.3, but output is 2.50 for 2.5 flash. So we don't want to spend a lot on the thinking, because whenever the model thinks, you are paying for those tokens. Okay, so let's say I decrease the thinking to, let's say, 100 tokens. Now if I want the structured output, I can click on it, I can define a structure to it, how I want my output. Then if I want to execute the code itself, so I can enable the code execution. The function calling, I can edit it, I can write a code. And also I can use the visual editor. I haven't explored it, but yeah, you can use it. Also you can do a grounding with Google search. So what will happen, whatever it provide the response, it will do a Google search as well, and in the result you will have those link, actually the Google search links. So that is the grounding with Google search. URL context, you can give URL context as well. Now there are advanced setting as well. If you can consider some safety settings, you can enable harassment mode. I mean, if you enable these things, then it will prevent those things. You can prevent hate speech, you can uh, block sexually explicit content, or you can block the dangerous content as well. So these things will be required when you publish a product using these APIs. And also you can control the output token length. Let's say let me put it to the 4000. We don't need that much output for these things, otherwise it will give the content whatever related to Docker script to create a simple Linux machine, but it will provide a more descriptive answer if I don't limit the output token. Same, there is a top p, we'll come to that in the later video, what this settings means. So once you consider this setting, you can run these things and it will provide the output accordingly, how you set up those configuration. So see, it's when I I have set a thinking budget of 107 tokens, so it stopped thinking after that much of token. So is thought of less, so I got the output very quickly. And as I said, the temperature very low, and see it's show as a very compact output. So now let's say for the same question, let's say let me copy the question and let me clear the chat. Where is the clear chat? Continue. Let me put the same question. Let me put temperature to 2. Let me don't have any output length token. Let me put the top p here. Let me put the thinking budget much higher. Now let me run the code. We'll see the difference actually. Now it will thinking a lot. See, it was thinking a lot more than previous. It's still thinking around, it's this is the limit, but it's well within the limit. And then see how much descriptive answer it is written, because you allowed it to be creative. So those thing you can test in the Google AI Studio. So let's say you have a prompt. Let's say you have a prompt to convert a PDF to text. So that is a very detailed prompt, right? You can write a very unique prompt regarding that. So if you want to test how your prompt is working, this is the go-to tool for you, the Google AI Studio. You can check how your prompt is performing. Now if we want to do this in a bulk manner, how will do? You can't go to this AI Studio or Google Gemini to write let's say you have 100 of prompts, you have a Python script. How you can run this, how can you automate these things? So in that case, you can click on the get API key. Let's say I create an API key. Let me create an API key for a project. So if I generate an API key, might take some time. Let's wait for a couple of seconds. Yeah, it gave me an API key. So let me store that API key here somewhere. Now let me close these things. Let me copy the content. Let me put the content here. So what it does, it says I can send a card request to this particular thing with the key. So let me put this key here, that is Gemini API key. I put the key here, and if I met this request text, explain how AI works in a few words. Let me modify the text, text. Let me write me an email, let's say for 2 days sick leave. Let me fire this call request from my terminal. Let me increase the terminal size. Let me put this call request. You'll get the response here. Yeah, so see, you get the response here. Let me copy the response and put this in the editor so that you can see how these things look like. So in the candidates context, text, part text, subject sick leave, your name, dear manager. So this is the basically output which we see in the console. And there are other prompt token count. So what is my input prompt count? Candidate token count means how much token consumed in the output. What is the total token count? That is output token plus input token. So these are the different things. What is the model version I have used? What is the response ID? So those are some details which we can get using the API. So when you have the API key, we can automate the things, right? Obviously, you can automate the whole responses. So now let me delete the API key as it's already shown in the video. Yeah, let me delete that, and then we'll move towards the Vertex AI section. So for more moderate, basic or low traffic applications, this will work very good. You have the API key, you can hit the API key using your Python code, using your Java code, and yeah, you can get the response. And you can automate for any scripts. You have your own work which you want to perform. You can integrate different APIs and integrate the Google Gemini APIs and perform that action. That is it. Now let's come to the Vertex AI. That is the most production ready things Google have ever published on this. Actually, I liked it very much. Now let me go to the document here. So see, I'll not waste much time on reading the key features. I will be anyway attaching this with the video description, or anyway you can comment on the video if you require explicit access on this thing. I will make a PDF and send to your Gmail IDs. No big deal. So yeah, here you will have the actual side to side comparison as well. You can refer to these things. But now let me go here. In the Vertex AI, this is the production ready things. So let's say you want to build a Google ecosystem. Let's say if you want your Google virtual machine to call some Gemini call, and you don't want to expose APIs, you need higher limit and all. You want to billing this on your Google organization, then this comes handy. This is a production ready things. Here we'll have some more thing. Here you can provide some system instruction. So I can provide a role to my model. Let's say role, you are an expert on, let's say, database. Your primary role is to create table schemas. Let's say I can give it a role. Now as per the role, I can ask its different prompt. Let's say give me a table schema for a Flipkart like solution. Okay, here you can also switch between the models as you can do in the Vertex AI Studio. Then you can put a thinking budget, you can provide a structured output, you can do grounding with Google. All of the things you can do here as well. There will be some advanced configuration. It's the same actually, in which region you want the things to run. Let's say you have some compliance requirement, you want to run the things in the Europe region, or you host your product in US, where due to some compliance regulation you are allowed to make the request on the US zone only. So you can configure the region, you can adjust the temperature accordingly, you can set the output token accordingly, you can put a seed, that's a random seed. Then you can adjust the top p. So what the top p means, you can see the top p changes how the model select tokens for outputs. So these things you can set it here. You can see how your prompt to work. You can do a thinking budget manual, you can put a proper thinking budget, you can switch model. Let me switch to Flash, and then you can submit it. See, it started thinking within the thinking budget, and then it will provide the output in a while. There are some more thing you can do with it as well, so I'll come to that in a while. Let it complete the thing. So it's because it's a big question, right? He's a database engineer, and its role is to create a table schemas, and I asked him to create the schemas for a software like Flipkart, so it will give all the schemas. See, a whole lot of things it generates. So as the output token limit is very high, you will have a very long output. It's not due to that actually, but it allows is to go beyond that. Not beyond that, 265,000. So if I go and paste the output here, see, it's provided a 545th line response with the descriptive things what it can do. So it's a more production ready things specifically, and also it's provide access to something more, that is grounding your data. So what does grounding with Google search means? When you ground with Google search, it will, for your question, it will search in your Google. But let's say as an organization or as an individual, you might have some data which you don't want to share to Google or publicly, but you want when this response is getting generated, you want to refer those to those let's say datas. So what you can do is you can enable grounding with your data, and you can put your data in a RAG engine, in a vector search, or elastic search as well. So you can put a elastic search endpoint, you can put the index and the search template and number of hits, or everything you can configure. You can ground the result with your own data. It's more specific. It's a basic use case when someone create a production ready application. Also, Vertex AI is a basically a model garden where you have access to third-party models as well. So if you want to build an application using Anthropic Claude, which is, this is recently generated by Anthropic, the Opus 4 and Sonnet 4. The pricing is on a higher side for this Sonnet 4 and Opus 4, but yeah, you have the luxury to use those third-party models you published by Meta or Anthropic using the Vertex AI Studio. There is a prompt gallery. You can, there are different functionality of like apart from this there are different functionality it provides as well. You can create prompt, you can compare prompts, you can ask it to help to write a prompt, you can optimize a prompt, you can evaluate it, you can fine tune your models actually. You can host your own models, and you can fine tune it to the data. You can stream in real time. This is actually, this is the same thing whatever we are doing in the Google Gemini. So everything is provided here. One important thing which I forgot to mention, you can attach content from Google Cloud Storage as well. So let's say you have tons of documents, let's say hundreds of security documents in your Google uh, Cloud bucket. You can refer to those and you can directly provide the link here. It will read those things from here. You can provide a YouTube link, you can provide a Google Drive link. So those are some extra features provided by this Vertex AI tool. So these are the major differences between all these three tools. There are a ton of lot features is available as well. Like if you want to batch prediction. So what is batch prediction? So sometimes the majority of the times, so when users provide some request to some production grade application, so it's not necessary to provide the output immediately, right? Some requests are uh, can be processed like you have an SLA of 12 hours, you can provide the response in 3 days. There are some like product exists, right, where you don't need the immediate results. So in those things you can create the batch predictions. So what is batch prediction? In batch prediction you can create a batch of requests where you can use these already available models, let's say 2.45 flash or pro, whoever supported this batch thing, and its price half of the actual price. Actually whatever price you pay in the on-demand request, like whenever we put some API calls here, so it gets it's cost us some money, right? And when you use that batch prediction, so it will be the half of that cost. One more important thing I forgot to tell you. So let's say if you are a let's say system engineer, you put a system instructions and then you write a prompt, write me a code for creating Docker image in a Linux machine. Let's say this is a simple prompt. What you can do is you can build with, you can click on the build with code. You can deploy it as an app in the cloud run function, or you can get the code itself here. So see, it generates the whole code to yourself. This is a production ready code. Here it is not referring any API keys. It just needs authentication with the project, with the Vertex AI. You just install this pip install Google Gemini, and you have to log in from that terminal or from that virtual machine with this command gcloud auth application default login. You can authenticate the Vertex AI using from a Google Cloud virtual machine using a service account as well. So those are the features provided by the Vertex AI, and you have direct option to deploy it as an app. You can open notebook and like do your Google Colab thing. So this is for Python app. You can get the code for Node.js, you can get the code for Android, you can like, this is, I don't know, it's a Firebase app. So there's a CURL, like if one just a normal call request endpoints, you can get it. So there are different functionalities available. You can go to the API reference and you can get more details. Like if you want the thinking, like whatever it thinks you need that as an output, you can configure all those sort of stuff actually. So this is the overall comparison between Google Gemini and AI Studio and Vertex AI. So if I talk about conclusion, so on a day-to-day life, when you are using it for day-to-day tasks, so Gemini, Google Gemini.google.com is the go. You don't have to configure anything. You just ask it something. It can provide you the result. You can ask it by your microphone. You can interact with your voice. So those things can be done by Gemini. This thing, when you are going to use develop an application, test an application, you can use this thing. If you are comfortable using some API keys, you can use these things. Even if you use an API key and use a, let's say, product using this AI Studio, this is gonna build to this Vertex AI things as well. So this Vertex AI is linked to that Google account, basically a Google project. Let's say Subham website. So when you create a good API key, create an API key for this AI Studio, it also creates it from this project only, or some other project from the organization. So it is going to be built in the same way. Though it will be built as Gemini, but it will build as a Vertex AI. So for any development and the regular task, regular like repetitive task, you can use Google Studio for sure. You can't use Google Gemini for that. But if you need a production ready application where you have some restriction, you have some compliance regulation, where you have to control your data to a particular region, where you don't want your API key, and you want some service account type of authentication, you want the Google server, you want a closed Google system. In this thing, you have your own data using which you can do a grounding. You want to training something, you want to compare some prompts, you want to run some experiment, you want to run some batch predictions for less cost. Those things, the Vertex AI is your go-to solution. So that's it. That's the major differences between all these three platforms. And if you guys any confusion, just put your email ID on the comment box. I'll reach out to you, and you can reach out to me as well. You will already have my Gmail ID, I believe. So yeah, thank you.